So we have two zeitgeist stories. We have the Tron one, which we're going to get to, but we have another one that's about how people are taking and readers particularly are taking a step to the right. And it's one of the things that's contributing to the algorithm changes. It's also one of the things contributing to the shift. Why you see traditional publishing sales go down every month and indie publishing sales go up every month is that, for the most part, the traditional publishers have a strong bias against conservative leading narratives, traditional gender roles, non-diverse characters, right? Like there's this big bias. And one of the things that's affecting the shift to the right is that the censorship of conservatives is going away. So a few months ago, Meta released a letter to the House Judiciary Committee explaining how it was censoring conservatives, why it was doing it at the behest of the Biden administration, and why they are not going to do it anymore. And a couple of weeks ago, Google issued a similar letter saying, yes, we were censoring conservatives on YouTube. And now that we're really sorry and we're not going to do it anymore. And so a lot of conservatives have gotten their videos unbanned and their channels unbanned. So a lot of this ideological censorship is going away. And because of that, it's making conservative voices a lot louder.
Yeah.
There's another effect that's happened, though, which was when Charlie Kirk died, for like a week or 2 weeks for some people, all they were swiping on TikTok and X was Charlie Kirk clips. I don't know if this is the case for you, Jonathan, but it was definitely, my feed became nothing but either Charlie Kirk clips or people talking about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And what happened was that like hijacked the machine learning algorithms, because Charlie Kirk was so different from what it was feeding people before that even now that the Charlie Kirk wave has passed and people aren't watching as many clips of him as they were, they're now getting like the ripples off of that stuff that was related to Charlie Kirk, and it moved everyone's algorithms dramatically to the right. Like not a little bit, but a lot. And it was a kind of a reset of the algorithm. And I will say I've liked my X feed far more.
Really? I got shifted center left.
Interesting. So for me, I'm getting far less sexually charged content. Like it doesn't matter how quick I swipe. It's like every once in a while it's feeding me something, but Charlie Kirk like cleansed my X.
I think it's just lost and confused now. It's just dazed. Like what is happening?
Although I will say Elon Musk is doing some major algorithm tweaks.
Yes, he is updating that.
So maybe, because pretty soon in the next few months, you're going to be able to just talk to X and be like, give me less political content. Give me more Christian content.
Which I appreciate.
Tweak your feed. That's going to be huge.
I appreciate a less curated feed. I do appreciate that because now I can curate it.
Yeah.
I do want to see what this leftist is saying about this particular topic, just so I know what they're saying, and I want to hear it from their point of view without it being fed through a right-wing commentator at me to tell me what to think. So I do appreciate that that's happening for me. It is amplifying a lot of weirdos, though. Oh my gosh, the groypers.
It's different weirdos. And so one of the problems with algorithms in general is that the people on the fringes are the most interesting, right? When you're driving down the road, there's all these cars that are parked correctly and not on fire, and you don't stop and you don't look at those cars. But the one car that's on fire, you like slow down on the highway and you're like looking, you're like, oh, why is that car on fire? Is anybody hurt? Right. That's the one that gets.
That's when guys start giving professional opinion. Oh, the fuel went up on that one. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, they never should have bought a Ford. It's fix and repair daily. Right. So that's a part of human nature that machine learning reinforces, right? Because machine learning is the oldest part of AI. We've had it since 2014 on Facebook. And machine learning is algorithms that code themselves based off of criteria, like what gets the most attention. Well, what gets the most attention is the burning car. It's not all the hundreds of well-parked cars. And so the fact that these algorithms are now sharing crazy voices on the right in addition to crazy voices on the left is still a problem with algorithms in general, because it's amplifying crazy voices. Like it got really bad where like the people who are getting amplified were people who didn't know the difference between men and women. Like that was crazy. But like going to people who are kind of equally crazy on the right isn't an improvement necessarily.
No.
And that's where I think the changes to X, where you're going to be able to tweak it yourself and say, hey, I'm seeing too much of this content. It's making me uncomfortable. I didn't mean to get into this rabbit hole.
People were muting Candace Owens and anything related to her for like the longest
I've muted
time.
the word Candace. I don't even want to hear
Because it's
people talking about
insane.
her.
I'm sorry if you're named Candace. I see nothing from you. I have a daughter named Candace. I'm changing your name legally.
All right. So that's enough on the kind of the political shift that we're seeing. It's not that everyone's become conservatives, but what's happened is that the readership overall, everyone's kind of taken a step to the right. But
Right.
collectively, it's been a big shift. But the bigger thing I want to talk about is Tron 3. So like last week, Jonathan shared his favorite movie, and I want to share my favorite film, but also it's relevant because Tron 3 just came out and it bombed. And I want to break down the bombing because the lesson of Tron 3 bombing is very important for you as an author. So Tron 3 Tron Ares bombed, and the biggest critique of it was that it was corporate slop, which is a wonderful phrase. It's not AI slop. We know it was written by humans, supposedly. But it was corporate slop in that it was just very generic corporate storytelling.
Yeah.
So you could tell the characters just by the casting, right? The white male executive, you know, he's going to end up being the bad guy. The diverse, strong female character, you know, she's going to be the good guy. Like the whole story just kind of follows the kind of generic corporate beats. And it's not very interesting, despite the fact that visually it's very appealing.
Yeah.
The music is very good. But the main reason why it failed is because it subverted what was the most interesting element of the original Tron stories, which was that they were deeply Christian stories. So Tron, the original Tron, is a masterpiece, and Tron Legacy is also a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite films, and a lot of people didn't take it seriously because it was so pretty and because it had so much computer graphics. So the first Tron film was the first movie ever to use computer graphics, and it's like a really beautiful woman who's really smart, and there's some people who are like, oh, this beautiful blonde woman, she's a dumb blonde, and they're biased against what she says because she's so pretty. And people had that same bias against Tron, which was unfortunate because these movies are masterpieces. They're so good.
People often don't listen to what I say because of how pretty I am.
So in the original Tron from 1982, the story unfolds in the grid, which is this computer world. It's this computer realm that's gone wrong. This power-hungry program called the MCP is like a glitch. It's like a snake in the Garden of Eden that's turning everything upside down, to the point that the only solution for this broken world is for the creator of the world, Kevin Flynn, to enter the world of his own creation and fix it. Tell me that's not a Christian story. It is a fundamentally Christian
I have
story.
a problem with God as Jeff Bridges.
So, you know, so the human becomes a computer, right? God becomes man, right? He leaves his safe, higher place in heaven, I mean, the real world, and enters this world of his creation, right? It's a picture of Jesus stepping into our messy reality. So fast forward to Tron Legacy, which is a very similar story. So it plays off of some themes of fathers and sons and in reconciling fathers and sons. There's multiple plot lines that have their own kind of Christian themes in their own way. But one of the interesting things is that Clue is this creature who was created to kind of fix the world, but he goes wrong. And he's trying to make this perfect world without flaws or without freedom. And it turns out that it became its own evil. And what's very interesting is that it's very similar to the promise that Satan made Jesus during the temptations, right? So in one of the temptations of Christ, Jesus was promised heaven on earth if he would just bow to Satan. So it was heaven on earth and hell after earth. And of course, Jesus resists the temptation, but it's that whole like twisting of perfection, this utopia that turns into a dystopia. And so what is the solution ultimately for saving this digital world? Well, the creator of the digital world, Jeff Bridges, sacrifices himself to save the digital world of his creation. It's a fundamentally Christian story. And what they should have done in the trilogy to complete it would have been Jeff Bridges coming back to life, and his coming back to life being the ultimate, and then coming back in victory would have been the ultimate Christian trilogy. And so what did they create instead? Tron 3 Ares. They wanted to make it unequivocal that this was not going to be a Christian story. We are naming it after a pagan god. And instead of it being a story of humans entering the digital world and redeeming the digital world of their creation, it's a story of characters from the digital world entering the human world and polluting it with violence. It's a complete and utter subversion of the core essence of what a Tron story even is. And I don't think people consciously realized how Christian the original Tron stories were, but I think the people who really liked the original Tron stories, when they saw the marketing for Tron 3 Ares, it just didn't resonate with them.
Yeah.
And it's because what was a Christian story is being turned into a pagan story, which was a story of redemption, is being converted and deconstructed into a story of destruction. What was the story of love is being turned into a story of hate, and we don't want that. Now, here's the thing. I haven't actually seen Tron 3 Ares. I'm just reacting to the marketing for it, but that's all that matters, because you know who else didn't see Tron Ares? Almost everyone in America. We saw the marketing and we chose, we don't want to watch that movie. That doesn't look like a Tron movie.
Yeah, I understand a lot of what you're saying. It is not a true one-to-one.
I don't think they were intending to tell a Christian story.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's a good story, which means it's true, right?
Yeah, with K-pop Demon Hunter, they accidentally told a very Christian story, and it's part of the reason why it's been such a fantastic.
Somehow, Doom Eternal is a Christian story. You know, like when something is true, okay, it's reflecting the truth in the universe, right? This is actually my writing philosophy. When I write Shades of Black, I don't have to preach at people, because as long as you tell the truth, they're gonna get there. Tron and Tron Legacy told the truth, and they did it in a really cool way by setting it in a different setting, which was users, creators, and then the overall, whatever it happened to be in either movie. The fact that it was Clue, where the creator made something that went bad, that's absolutely satanic. It's such a good picture. And the fact he turned someone who was supposed to be working for the creator, but then the creator managed to turn him back right at the end, was a fantastic story. Now, I just really like the story
all
itself.
Of these different facets of redemption. Individuals are redeemed. The world is redeemed, right? Because one of the things in the world in Legacy is that Jeff Bridges, the creator, some of the programs worship him and some of the programs hate him, right? There's this like split in the world. So like when he shows up, one, he's like incredibly
there's a
powerful.
Fear response.
Yeah. And the evil programs are terrified of him. The righteous programs are like literally bowing to worship him, and the like leader of the evil programs is trying to hunt him down to kill him. It's the scene in the bar scene is so powerful. One, it's got Daft Punk in it. They have a great cameo.
It is
such a good film.
It's such good music.
But when Jeff Bridges shows up and he like puts his fist on the ground and all the lights show up, he's like, hey, the creator of this world is here and I'm not messing around.
Yes.
And there is going to be some changes, you know. The sheriff is back in town.
They did a good job, especially when because the girl was a part of this extra race that came out. It was a new type of person or a new type of program that came into the world, and they were more powerful. They were better. So they were hunted down and destroyed because they were changing the world too much. And that's a persecution. Okay. And now this last one is bound to the creator, but the creator is still stronger. Like, she's in there fighting and she's doing great stuff. I mean, I love watching that. But she's still losing to all the programs because there's just too many of them. And then the creator comes in and shuts everything down, and like the lights fade and everyone like recoils as they realize that freaking Jeff Bridges is in the bar. And so the story itself, and the fact that he could take her to his world after that, was so interesting, because even the color coding was heaven. It was all gold and sunrise and beautiful and peaceful at the end, after the sacrifice of the creator. And then he takes her with him to the overworld or whatever you would call it, which is absolutely coded heaven. I haven't seen Ares yet, and I've had no interest in doing it because the coding looks wrong. I like black and red, right? But that's not Tron colors. That's not good guy Tron colors. Good guy Tron colors are black and blue or black and white.
But it's also the problem that the third Matrix film has. So what's fun about the Matrix is being in the Matrix.
Yes.
And what's fun about Tron stories is being in
the setting,
the program. Yeah. And so the third Matrix film takes place mostly in the real world, which is that drab and dire and depressing, and all the humans die in the end. And so
it's true.
People are judging Tron 3 by Matrix 3. Like, I don't want to watch a Tron movie that doesn't take place in Tron world, in the real world. That's a fight between corporations over control over corporate stocks. Like, this doesn't look interesting.
It's true. So I really enjoy the battle where the machines are coming for Zion. Just because it's very Marine coded. It's just one guy, shooting guns. I love that. But it wasn't interesting until Neo went back into the Matrix and took on Agent Smith,
Apparently,
the monster.
I spoiled Matrix 3 for somebody.
What?
I'm sorry, but
this is the 90s, guys.
No, it's 2000.
But yeah, it wasn't interesting until that moment when he went back into the Matrix. Yep. And it's important to remember, if you're writing this kind of story where your setting matters, it's part of the gimmick, I guess is what you would call it. And the gimmick is just what I refer to as the hook. It's not a negative term. It's why people read it. It's where they want to be. If I'm playing a God of War game, I don't want to play Farmville. Okay? I don't want good dad Kratos being happy. Okay? I want Kratos killing the gods. Okay? They're making another one where he's going to go after the Egyptian pantheon, and I'm here for it. Okay? Like, yes, we did Greece, we did Norway, let's hit the Egyptians. Because that's the setting, that's the gimmick. And you have to know your gimmick. You can't get away from your gimmick. You can't even subvert your gimmick, because Star Wars tried that. Didn't work. You can't create a religion of Force users and then say it's just... No. Don't do that anymore.
So what's interesting is Victor, who has seen Ares, is saying that the third one could have that same kind of Christian narrative veneer over it. And this is actually a really important principle, and that is how much the marketing matters, right? Because a lot of people are like, well, my marketing said X, but really the book is Y. If you read the book, it's Y. It's like,
then why are you marketing it?
Yeah, the promise. So good marketing is making the right promises to the right people and then delivering on those promises. Those are the 3 steps.
Wizards of the Coast just made this mistake.
Right. And knowing who your audience is, promising something they want, and then delivering on that promise. And so what it could be the case, and I haven't seen Tron Ares. I've seen the Critical Drinker review, as have the rest of you in chat apparently. And I've seen some other reviews of it, but I haven't watched it myself to make up my own opinion. And I don't always agree with the Critical Drinker. And sometimes movies make the wrong promise and end up delivering after all. A classic example of this is The Princess Bride. It had no idea what promise to make, right? It's a horror, torture, fantasy, romance film for children. You're like, what on earth is that even? It's like a guy gets tortured to death. It's really bad, but there's like a kid at the beginning and his granddad's reading him a story, and it's got monsters, but it's also like romantic. And you're like, what are you talking about? It's like, it's going to be great. Believe me. Right. So this is a problem that some stories have, and it can be overcome, but more often than not, it's, especially right now with books, it's not overcome because of how many million books are flooding the market. So if you don't have a really clear promise that resonates with a really clear readership, you never even get a chance to demonstrate whether you've delivered on that promise or not. And you're like, I've got 50 reads. Most of them are from my friends and family. I never could get a single person in my target audience to read this book because I wasn't making the right promise. It makes sense. Is this a kissing book?
Is this a kissing book? So Wizards of the Coast is the ones that makes the Dungeons and Dragons books right now, and they just released a new graphic where they basically said D&D is for everyone, and it was basically a fantasy pride parade. The problem with this image, okay, yes, it had a lot of LGBTQ plus coded stuff in it, but it also had stuff that was antithetical to the world of D&D itself. It had a beholder in the background, which that is an evil mind-controlling creature that gets mortals to destroy themselves. And this just looking on peacefully, and it has like a mug of ale or something. There's a chromatic dragon in the background, which those aren't good if you know anything about D&D. Those things want to destroy mortals. And then, and I don't understand this one, there is a collapsing wizard's tower. And it's like, you guys are called Wizards of the Coast. Why do you have it coded into your background that there is a collapsing wizard's tower? I don't understand this. And the thing is that the reaction to this image has created so many great memes, first of all. And then people are AI animating it because D&D people are into AI. And they're AI animating them being destroyed by real things in the D&D world. It's like, guys, this isn't what it's like. And here's the thing is I saw this from Christians who were like, wait. We were okay with this when people just said it was satanic. I can handle that, but don't say we're gay. Like the promise Wizard of the Coast is making doesn't resonate with its audience at all in the slightest. And it's driving people off to the more individual rule sets, the other creators. So if you do table RPGs, now's your time.
And in closing, because we've run over time, but we had a lot of hard news to get to before we got to the zeitgeist stuff.
It was a lot.
Branding is not all about you. This is a mistake that people make, is thinking that their brand is about describing themselves. And in reality, your brand is a dance between you and your reader.
Yes.
It's about making promises that your reader wants to hear and then delivering on those promises. That's the back and forth and knowing who your reader is. And so this is the problem with Tron. This is the problem with Wizards of the Coast.
Salvatore, did you see that piece of news?
I haven't.
Salvatore is releasing a new Drizzt series. It's his daughter, and it's a feminist girl boss series. And people are just like throwing books. They're just like flipping tables.
So you have to make the right promise. You have to make it to the right audience. And a feminist girl boss book may be exactly the right kind of book to write if that's who your target
if that's what your audience wants.
Right. And so and trying to change your audience, like I'm on a quest, I'm going to fix the backwards stupid people who read my books, and I'm going to make them more sophisticated and make them more like me. That's really poisonous thinking, and you have to really be on guard for that kind of thinking, because once you start disliking your readers, once you start taking them for granted, once you start holding them with disdain, that attitude will poison the entire rest of your career. In fact, it's common because there's like authors on their way up the mountain.
Yeah.
They're loving the readers on the way up the mountain, and they're disdaining their readers down the mountain. And often it becomes this reinforcing cycle, because as they disdain their readers have that same attitude back, which causes the readers to read less and less of their books. Their books are less and less successful. Their newer stuff's less successful than their older stuff, which causes them to disdain their readers.
And how would you ever come back from that? You can't come back and say, "I'm sorry, I like you again." Like,
you can
that
actually, I don't
happen.
know. Battlefield 6, right? That was a repentance. Be like, you know what? We hear you. We're gonna make the kind of game y'all want to play rather than the kind of game we want to make. And that everything was forgiven from EA.
Battlefield
company everyone loves to hate.
Battlefield didn't make that mistake, though. Battlefield 5 was a bad game, but they didn't come out hating their players. So Battlefield 6 doesn't have that. They're just coming back and saying, okay, we're going to make the game you guys want to play. We're going to add a lot of cool stuff into it because we know you like cool stuff. They don't have to overcome, oh, I like you again. You know, I completely changed the game you were playing, like Dragon Age Veilguard. You know, they didn't have to go out and say that. And did we talk about this last time? EA got purchased by the Saudis. Yeah. And Jared Kushner. Like, what?
Well, he's in deep with the Saudis. This is
EA
not
storytelling
video game update, though.
We're talking Tron. We can totally do video game update.
I was trying to bring us to a conclusion.
Anyway, storytelling wise, you need to know what your audience wants. You need to give that to them. If they want something different, fine, pivot and give that to them. But you need to know that that's what they want and not what you think they should want. And that's where a lot of storytelling is going wrong these days, is people or creators are starting to proscribe what their audience should consume instead of giving their audience what they want to consume.
Matthew says Tron is a video game movie.
It's absolutely a video game movie. There are literal video games in it.
That's like really edgy case. I really think Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Of course Die Hard is a Christmas movie. This is not a controversial position anymore. So
about the Christian coding of Die Hard.
We'll get there. There will be future episodes of Author Update every Friday, 4 p.m. Central. If you want to watch live, the replays are available. We also have a clips channel, which will clip out individual segments. So if you want to share a specific segment, so if you want to share us talking about the algorithm with your author friends, go to the Author Update clips channel. And remember, the number one commandment of book marketing, if you've listened to my episodes, the 10 commandments of book marketing, is to love your reader as much as you love your book. If you do that, it solves so many of the blunders that we have talked about in this episode. If you just love your reader as much as you love your book, that's the top button, and all the other buttons.
Because even if you make mistakes, you loved your reader. Even if you messed up, you loved your reader, and people will forgive you for that. I bring the wrong milk home or whatever. My wife knows I was doing my best. Okay? I will be forgiven at some point after I've been made to suffer. But I will come back. But if you don't love your reader and you make mistakes based off of not loving your reader, you actually can't come back. There's no route back.
You almost have to find new readers.
You have to start over.
or really take the low road. But we will be back next week. I'm Thomas Umstead Jr.
And I'm Jonathan Sharga Jr.
Live long and prosper.